Last week I received the Zoom B1on pedal and I want to do a quick review on it. A little bit of background on this. I used to own a Zoom pedal. One of my first pedals back in probably the late 90s was a Zoom 506 pedal. Those were great pedals, man. Those were lasted me a while, although, you know, multi-effect pedals are a little iffy because digital stuff can break. And then eventually, yeah, that's what happened to it one day. It just gave me the error 506. But this is a new version of that, pretty much a new version of that pedal. It's surprisingly thin, and it's actually thinner than my MXR pedals. So if you include the knobs on them. So it's alright. I'm not going to go through all the presets. There's other videos out there where people go through the presets and the drum machine and stuff like that. But what I've found is that it has a lot of stuff in here that they don't put in the presets, that you got to kind of dig around and fish for, which is really easy to figure out how to change the sounds and stuff. If you just move around the menus and look at all, they have tons of different amp simulations, from SVTs to flip tops, Gallon-Kruger stuff, Mark bass stuff. I mean, tons of amp simulations, SWR simulations, tons of cool amp simulations, and a lot of cool effects that they don't put in there. There's a whole section of like cool synth sounds, and I'm gonna go through just I've made a few custom presets that I'm just gonna kind of show off real quick, because I think that they're really neat, and there's no presets that I found on here that are anything like the sounds that I've made, which are kind of neat. So the first one I'm going to show you is it's just an octave. It's all it is. It's just the most simplest octave. There's no dry signal in it. It's just all. The next one is it has a bit crusher. Yeah, it's got a pretty good one, actually. It sounds really fat. And notice, there's no sound. Usually when you have a bit crusher, there's always the 60 cycle hum or something is always just humming out, but it is dead silent. I'm not playing, it is silent. Yeah. And you can change, of course, the down sampling and the, you know, the bit rate and everything like that. So that's a pretty cool thing. The other one, they have some really cool synth sounds, like and this one too. It's got a cool pitch. I'm just going to kind of show you how you flip around in here. Turn this little knob and you can add effect. So we'll say add effect. Then it'll ask you what you'd like to add, and I'm just going to kind of flip around and show you some of all the different things that they got in here. Dynamic and filter stuff. Yes, we'll add it there. You get all these different compressors, different types of compressors in here. There's slow attack, graphic EQs, parametric EQ, exciter, auto wah, Zetron M filter, auto filter. Oh man, like all these cool things. I mean, yeah, like what this one, a sequence filter. You know, and what was it? That one before that was the yeah, it's got some cool filters in here. Let me go back here. Yes, I want to change this. Keep moving. random filter, bass booster. You have overdrives. It has a muff simulator, distortion, fuzz face, a Sans Amp kind of simulator, a bass BB. Here's an SVT simulation, Bassman, Hartkey. It's supposed to be SWR, flip top, acoustic. This is supposed to be an Aguilar. Galcurier. This is supposed to be a Mark bass simulation, which is pretty cool. Got tremolos, phasers. Jeez, man, I mean, it just keeps going. Here's some chorus, some more kind of chorusy detuning, some flanger, finished flanger. Here's the octave. Here's a pitch shifter, bass pitch shifter. Got ring modulation, bit crusher. This thing is cool. This says, it just has this like weird like thunder-ish sound on it. Got the auto pan. I have a whole bunch of different synths. So this is this synth. Okay, you got okay, then you got and you can go in here, any one of these. Once you select it, you can go in here and change any of these things that are in here. So it's not quite like, you know, it's not just that. You know, you can change all these settings and everything within all of these synths. This one is really unique. I like that 4-voice synth. That one is really neat. You've got more synths, more synth stuff, some T-fret stuffs, and then you have all these delays, reverse delay, so many cool delays and stuff. And reverbs, room, tiled room, arena. And then a bypass. Yeah, and then that's kind of the beginning there. So the conclusion about this pedal is that I got it at B stock, so it was, I think, like $40 plus maybe 10 for shipping. It's definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. If you're, you know, I can see this pedal being used by beginners, people who have their first pedal. I can see this as somebody who maybe is a guitar player looking to play bass and would like an effect pedal or just to have some effects. It's definitely, you know, I kind of collect pedals and it's something that I like to have. But since I got it, I really like having it plugged in. I like having it right there. I mean, I've got 30-something pedals, but, you know, this does pretty much all the pedals that I have pretty well. It's easy to have just right there at my feet. And instead of having an array of pedals on a pedal board that I've got to plug in, something nice to have right at my feet when I'm practicing. It's probably a very good pedal for somebody maybe who's in a teaching situation, in maybe like a room with maybe like an older bass amp, like one of the old Fender Rumbles or something. It has an auxiliary input in it, so that will help if you're teaching. You can just plug an auxiliary right into it and plug, you know, with your phone or iPod or whatever song you're working on, can go straight through the pedal. Or you can use whatever app, drum machine that you have, if you don't like any of the drum machine sounds that it has. I think it's a cool pedal. I definitely think it's worth the money, and we'll see how long it lasts. But it definitely feels sturdier than the old Zoom 506, 505, 507, all those ones. Definitely feels more sturdy, and it's thin and it's light. Russian big muff reissue. You know, the muff is actually slightly taller than the pedal itself, and this is, you know, I mean, this is just your standard pedal, you know. by comparison, let's say like a Boss pedal, you know, here's my OC2. By comparison, you know, how much taller the OC2 is. You know, it's so yeah, it's plastic, you know, but you know, it's like a metal back. It takes batteries. It's fairly, these pedals, they don't feel, they're tight. They're in there. They don't feel flimsy. You know, maybe there's kind of a little bit of, maybe some issue with the screen. The screen is kind of a nice screen, so you might want to be careful that you do have a screen that could get cracked, so maybe putting it in a case may not be the best idea. Some sort of protective thing might be a good idea, but it's so small. I mean, yeah, you can probably find a pretty easy little case for it. I mean, the box it came in isn't that big either, you know. So I wouldn't mind carrying this thing around to some small jazz gigs or something. Maybe it's cool. I haven't even unlocked what it can do with the USB on the back, because yes, it does have a USB as well as the auxiliary and stuff. So yeah. This is a decent bit crusher. Gets the job done for me. This sounds better, and it is less. So just for that bit crusher alone, this pedal might be worth it. I still wouldn't want to put it on my board because two things that suck about this pedal is you can't switch the sounds without turning it on. So let's say you're in a jam situation and you're thinking, oh man, an envelope filter would be really awesome right here. You go to turn on the pedal, it's on setting 6, your envelope filter is off at preset number 2. Now you have to scroll through it to get to that preset. It would be nice if there was a feature where you could scroll through the presets without turning them on. That way you could just turn it on, have that octaver or that envelope filter or that distortion right when you need it, right when you want it, instead of having to... Oh, it's the other direction. Is that it? That's it. That'll ruin the vibe pretty quick. So that I think would be a huge improvement on this. So it's not perfect. It's not pedal, and it definitely won't make its way on my permanent pedal board because I don't trust computer chips. I don't trust the screen. They're flimsy. They're still fragile. So it's not something that I would take on the road and tour with and rely on and depend on night after night. But it is a cool little toy. It's good to have. First of all, I would like you to click and subscribe to my channel. It's not hard. Click and subscribe. I don't do videos often, and I try to make them entertaining. Click and subscribe, or else.